In this video, we'll be talking about how to use the Google Keyword Planner for SEO. The Keyword Planner has changed a lot through the years, so we'll be talking about some of those changes now. So our first point, what is the Google Keyword Planner? Well, the Google Keyword Planner is Google's keyword tool. It is the keyword tool that was made by Google several years ago, I think over 10 years ago, and it was originally designed to help advertisers, people who want to spend money on Google. It was designed to help them decide which keyword phrases to target in their Google AdWords advertising campaign. So Google AdWords is the name of Google's product, Google's web application that allows advertisers to buy keywords on Google. When you're on Google and you type in a word like car insurance and you see all these little green ads appearing at the top, then those are people, or rather those are companies that are paying Google to have their ad featured above the regular organic search results, which in this example start right here. So again, that's why the Google Keyword Planner was invented. It was originally invented to give advertisers a tool for finding keywords that they'd like to bid on, like our example here. This is the keyword car insurance, which is a very expensive keyword. So your question at this point might be, if we are SEO guys, then why do we care about the Google Keyword Planner? Well, the first reason is because it is a free source of millions of keywords. That's very important. The Google Keyword Planner is an infinite well of keywords. If you need keywords for your website, you can find them here very, very fast. It's a fast tool. Once you know how to use it, you can generate large lists of keywords, thousands of keywords, millions of keywords. You can generate very large lists of keywords very rapidly. And because of this reason, the Google Keyword Planner is a long-standing tool, meaning it's been around for a long time, and it's considered a foundational resource in SEO. Meaning a lot of guys who get started in SEO, this is the first tool they use. They use the free Google Keyword Planner. If you can master this tool, and if you could kind of understand how this tool works, then mastering SEO is pretty straightforward, because this is a foundational tool, and your ability to generate, harvest, and organize keywords, these are three major components in, quote, doing SEO. So having said that, what I should also add is the tool has some problems. Mostly they're just little annoying problems. It has a very confusing user interface. It's very quirky, meaning when you're first getting started with the Google Keyword Planner, it's difficult to really understand how the buttons work, how the links work, and even signing up to use the free tool is actually surprisingly tricky, which is unfortunate because it's made by Google, supposedly the smartest guys on the planet, and they should really have a better user interface at this point, because this is an old tool and it's used by millions of people, and yet even to this day it's a little tricky to use, especially at first. Another problem, a more recent problem that occurred last year in 2016, is Google began to limit the data that they provide in the free version of the tool. So the Google Keyword Planner is not so free anymore, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So why is the Google Keyword Planner not so free anymore? Well, like I mentioned, they make the sign-up process a little bit tricky, and they really want you to enter your credit card number during the sign-up process. So even if you don't want to purchase any ads, it's actually a little bit tricky to get through the process without entering your credit card number. But as we'll see in a minute, it's actually quite easy to do if you know what to click. But again, Google makes the vast majority of their money right here on these guys. This is how Google makes money. This is why Google is one of the most successful companies that has ever existed on the planet. They make the vast majority of their money by someone typing in a keyword like car insurance, and a company, like one of these four companies, willing to pay for that person's click. I know in the news you hear about Google making robots or You hear about Google Maps, you hear about Google Street View, you of course hear about the Chrome browser and the Chromebook and the Chromebox and all of the thousands of other Google products, and they're all great, but what you almost never hear about is how they really make money, and it's just the same old-fashioned way. It's through keywords. Again, somebody in the world types in a keyword like car insurance, and some companies are willing to pay for that person's click. This is how Google makes money. Compared to their other products are almost irrelevant because this is where the bread and butter is. And again, this is a billion-dollar organization, and this is why it's so important to understand how this stuff works, how keywords work. So, as we were saying, Google encourages you to give your credit card number at sign up for their keyword tool. There's ways to get around that. But if you are not a current paying customer or don't have what they call an active campaign in the Google Keyword Planner tool, then Google will only show you a range of keyword values. So let's jump into the tool and see how that works. You can see now I'm in Keyword Researcher, and I have a little batch of 30 keywords here, but you'll notice that I don't have any search volume for these keywords. If your search volume tab is not already revealed, you can always right-click here, Grid Settings, and turn on the Average Monthly Searches tab here, indicating that there is no keyword search volume data here. So, to rapidly get this data from the Google Keyword Planner, we can just click this button to select all the keywords, go ahead and copy to the Windows clipboard. This is the best way if you only have a couple of them, or if you only have a small batch of them. And I'm going to switch to the Google Keyword Planner, and you can see now I'm currently logged in. So we have three options here. We're usually only concerned with two options: Discover and Get Search Volume. This one and this one. So we want to get search volume, so we'll click here, and I'm just going to do a paste to put my keywords into the Google Keyword Planner. Push Get, and you can see now the tool has returned the data for the keywords I've entered. Now the only column that we usually care about is the average monthly searches column. This is Google's prediction for the average number of searches that this keyword is going to get within the region you're searching in. And you can see for this account, they're giving us a range of values, 10 to 100, 10,000 to 100,000. This one has 0, 10 to 100, 10,000. Here's a 1,000 to 10,000. So what Google is telling us here is that the search volume is going to end up somewhere in this range. Now, the range from 10,000 to 100,000, that might be a little broad for what you're trying to do. It depends on your business model, or having a range of this caliber might be just fine, because as anyone who's ever tried to ascertain search volume will attest to, the results are highly variable. There are many tools on the internet which will try to give you an exact number. Instead of 10,000 to 100,000, they'll say something like 5,325, right? And some people think that with having a precise integer like that will allow them to better ascertain market viability for the given keyword. But really, once you've been in this game for a while, you know that it's going to be highly variable, and no one really knows how much search volume is going to come to your website for the given keyword. All we can do is kind of guess at a range of market viability for a given keyword. We can't predict at any impressive level how much search volume is going to come to our website for any given keyword, which is why this range data here, it really doesn't matter that much. Basically, what they're telling you is some keywords get very little search traffic, some keywords get around 10 to 100 per month, which is still pretty little, and some keywords get more than that. And that's about the best we can do in terms of estimating the amount of search volume for a given keyword. Some people will still disagree with me. They're going to want an exact number when they're trying to gauge market viability for a given keyword. But those sorts of numbers are very difficult to come by. And even if you do arrive at one number in some software app out there, it's still going to be wrong. And it's going to vary from month to month. So instead, it's usually not good to base your business model on these integer values here. Instead, it's better to just examine the keywords and then try to get a feel for the market based on the range of keywords available here. So with that said, let's go ahead and download this data. And there's a little gray download button here. It's asking us where to save. We want to save to a CSV. Now the report will take a few seconds to prepare. And when it's done, you'll have a little CSV file on your hard drive. Now we can return to Keyword Researcher and scoot down here to the CSV importer. Then we can just simply drag our CSV file into the box. And you'll notice in our little browser here, we talk about the importing stats, and here are the values that we've just obtained from the Google Keyword Planner. Now, the way that the CSV files work is they're just going to choose a value in the middle of the range. For example, this one is Arlo security cameras, 10K to 100K. So in the middle of 10 and 100 is 50, and that's the value they put right there, 50,000. So all they're doing is they're taking the middle of the range and they're exporting that. Again, the whole point of this value here is not to give you an exact integer of exactly how many people are typing this word into Google. Instead, it's just supposed to give you a feel for the market so you can ascertain how much search volume is in that given market. So you can see, to answer the question, does CCTV cameras have a larger search volume than Costco cameras? Yes, it does, because that one's 50,000 and that one's 5,000. So all you can really do is get a feel for how this keyword is bigger than this keyword in terms of search volume because of this little range value here. And typically, if you're doing SEO the right way, if you have a viable business model, then the range value is really the only value you need. Now let's go to the second way to use the Google Keyword Planner. I'm going to delete all of our grid here, and I'm going to return to the Google Keyword Planner. And now I'm going to click the little X in the top left of the app. You probably can't see that, but there's a little white X up here, which brings me back to the main screen. Remember, at the start of this video, we talked about having the Discover, and we talked about having the Get Search Volume button. Previously, we clicked this button. Now let's click this button. And Discover Keywords is exactly what it claims to do. It discovers new keywords. Remember, in the first instance, we're getting stats for keywords that we already had. In this instance, we're getting new keywords. We want the app to generate brand new keywords that we haven't seen before. So to do that, we have to give it some seed keywords to give it an idea of what we want. So again, let's assume we're in the camera niche. So I'll type camera bags, tab, camera tripod, tab, camera tutorial, tab. All right, so we've just given it 3 words to work with. Now, based on these 3 seed keywords, these act as a hint, and it will go and it will examine its database, and it will determine what words are similar to these 3 words. Click the button, and now we have our new output. These are all brand new keywords generated by the app, so we can go ahead and click the download button again on the top right, save as a CSV file. It's going to prepare the report and probably take about 10 seconds. Here we go. And once again, you can see now our CSV file has been saved to our hard drive, and we'll go ahead and import this into Keyword Researcher in the same fashion we did last time. And here you go. We have all of our keywords have now been brought into Keyword Researcher, and we have the keyword, the search volume, and the CPC for each keyword. And we managed to get 5,221 of them. So this is a very, very, very useful free tool and a very quick way to get to many, many, many keywords very fast. So it's really in your interest to familiarize yourself with the free Google Keyword Planner, because when you use this app in conjunction with Keyword Researcher, then you will have access to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of great keywords which have been determined by Google's AI to be of related value to the seed keywords that you type in. And of course, the data is very difficult to work with here, and that's why Keyword Researcher was invented, because it's very easy to work with here. You can just move all these over to the main grid, and then the next step would be to go through the process of sorting these keywords for your website, which is why we have this handy article tree here, and that allows you to create articles and methods of sorting the words for your website. For example, if I had a tripod section of my website where I'm selling tripods, then I could start by just dragging tripod words into here. And of course, it will be categorized, and it will help me to categorize all the keywords that are related to the word tripod, so I can focus and sculpt my web content so that it sends users to the page I want them to go to, and hopefully encourage them to make a buying decision on that page. And that's how we make money with websites, of course. And this is how you go about creating the entire site. If this one was tripod, this one might be camera bags, and then I'll start dragging in the keywords for the camera bags and proceed in a similar fashion until I have developed a complete content strategy for my website.